So if I can start with Dr. Batanka, in fact, are you okay just to give us a kind of idea of the strokes in general, how many people it affects and how strokes can affect sufferers?
Stroke is a brain attack, so it's caused by a disturbance of a blood supply to the brain. And there are two types of strokes. You get a stroke because of the blockage, and it's called an ischemic stroke, and then you have a hemorrhagic stroke. What we're talking today is about ischemic stroke. And what stroke does is, what happens is people will have weakness in their hands, face, and the speech can get affected. And it's very important. What's changing is because now there are a lot of things available for treatment of stroke compared to some years back. And that is something very new. It's happening. We've been doing it for a while, but now we have good level evidence for that.
And am I right in thinking mechanical clot retrieval procedure?
Yeah.
Is that right? How does that help stroke sufferers?
Well, what we're talking about is large vessel stroke. So you remember this, when you have a stroke, you can have stroke, the blood vessels in the brain, they first big tubes and then they go into smaller tubes. The large vessels are the big blood vessels, which can, when they get blocked, they cause, as you can expect, they cover a bigger part of the brain. So they'll get bigger part of the brain gets blocked, you get a bigger stroke. So what mechanical thrombectomy is about using stents. Particularly, we have a very good stent, Solitaire, which is my favorite, but there are other devices as well. But the stent is used to kind of pick the clot from the brain and open the clot, open the vessel, so pull the clot out from the brain. And that is what is, either you call it an endovascular treatment or mechanical stroke, mechanical clot retrievers.
And you mentioned that it's being rolled out to more hospitals now. So how encouraging is it to see this happening now?
Pretty good. I think it's when we started doing it in Leeds, and we've been doing it for a while now, there wasn't much evidence to that. And I had a lot of criticism. As you can imagine, there'll be always somebody say, oh, this is hocus pocus, don't bother, this doesn't work. But we were very positive. So we carried on doing when not many centers were doing it. And now we got 5 trials unanimously saying the same thing, that the treatment of choice for large vessel occlusion for selected patients is mechanical clot retrieval. You come in time, if the clot gets removed, the patient will do well. A lot, 50% better outcome than if you do the other treatments which are available. And it is available now, and it was always available, but it just there wasn't much evidence to that. But it's available in all the big neurosciences centers, not one we call as a stroke center necessarily, but neurosciences centers in UK. And there are about 28, I think, specialist centers that can provide this.
Fantastic. If I can move on to Mohammed. Mohammed, can you just tell us about Saad's stroke and how it's affected him?
It was happened in 2011, December, and we wake up normally in the Sunday morning, and we had a breakfast together, and I just went out for some shopping, and it took me a couple of hours. When I come back home, and Saad's mom said to me, Saad's he's been poorly, and he's been sick all the time. He's vomiting, and it took a couple of hours, and I'm just worried about, and I've just phoned an ambulance, and they says to me, we're gonna straight away coming to your home. And what happened, and I've just waited a couple of hours, nothing's been happening, and then I called them again, and they turned up, and we took Saad to straight away hospital, and they checked him, everything. They says he's been dehydrated, because of his vomiting and sick, and they says you're gonna wait, So still Saad is not responding, and then there's a doctor called Dr. Gorman, and he just says, I'm worried about Saad because I've checked everything, and his blood pressure, his heartbeat, everything normal, but how come Saad is not responding? And then he said, we're going to take him for the MRI scan. And once it's been done that, and it's been found out Saad had a clot is in brain, which is a stop flow blood to his brain. So Dr. Gorman, he just sorted everything out within 3 hours, and Saad has been for operation. and Dr. Patankar, who's operated him, and that's what happened to Saad.
And so the Saad has had the treatment that Dr. Patanka is talking about. So have you ever thought about what might have happened if he wasn't so lucky to be able to have that treatment?
Yeah, that's right. The device is being used by Dr. Patankar, and it's been first time I think it's been used to Saad. Yeah, and I think is a lot helpful, and I think Saad recovery has been went very well, and it took 2.5 months, but Saad is fully recovered now, and that device has been work very good.
I think I can answer that question which you were asking. If Saad would not have got treated for this problem, and the outcome would be completely different. Only 2% of patients who have a blockage in the vessel which Saad had would survive. So 98% chances Saad would not have survived if he was not in time to the hospital. And so I think treatment of choice, and there are a lot of guidelines, and the European guidelines particularly talk about this, and they say that if you have a blockage in your basilar artery, particularly what Saad had is a posterior vessel behind which supplies your brainstem, if you don't take it out, you very unlikely you're going to survive that blockage. So I think, and for that, the trials which we are talking about and the evidence, it's all talking about anterior circulation, but posterior circulation, you don't have a choice.
That's fantastic. And can I just ask finally, Mohammed, the question I asked Dr. Patanka earlier, how pleased are you to see this being rolled out to more hospitals now to help potentially save more people like Saad?
Yeah, I think, the device has been used by Patankar, yeah, and is a very good, and I think it needs to be, used for all these kids, yeah. The same happened to Saad, yeah, and, is more chances to be survive, to it's happening, so I think that's all I can say.
Saad is very unique. If your children, we're talking about 9 children in UK, out of which 7 we've done in Leeds. Saad was one of the first child who had a thrombectomy, and it gives a very different option for children also.